Well, hello, and we have a studio of sorts. It's a work in progress. Excuse how it's looking. I think it's not too bad, and it's in Douglas, so it's quite central. Yes, and thank you, by the way, to many people who've offered me places to record.
Really?
Oh yeah, loads.
Great.
I appreciate it all. We will do something permanently at some point, even if the crowd fund it or something. But
you've got to keep going, Paul.
Well, yeah, because you've been dying to talk to me. Of course, I did Eric in Ramsey the other day, and he saw his interactions with AGs and that sort of thing. And we were here to do another one, which we'll get to, but an AG's update from you. You've had some word, have you?
Well, since we raised it, I've had quite a few people provide feedback to me, and it's not funny. The first point I want to make is that, we've spoken about two members of the AG's department being both members and, on occasion, chairman of the tribunal.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that any reasonable person knows that that's inappropriate. It's a crossing of the line between executive and judicial process.
It's not ideal, and it should probably never have been allowed in the first place. Someone should have spotted that one as a potential conflict, even if it isn't.
Well, I've now been very authoritatively advised that when the appointments tribunal were asked, how on earth did you allow, you won't believe the answer to this, how on earth did you allow members of the AG's department to end up sitting on the Employment Inequalities Tribunal? And the answer was, well, I took advice on this matter, and when questioned on that, it transpired that the advice they'd sought was from the AG's department. I mean, you couldn't
make that up.
No.
And they're conflicted by giving information that they're potentially involved in the answer, right?
Precisely.
Well, so why would you want to put yourself in that position?
The Appointments Commission need to, consider them.
I mean, we're not saying. I mean, I've got to be careful here. Nothing necessarily untoward here. It's just it doesn't look good. It doesn't.
No. There is something untoward here.
Oh, okay.
And the untoward is what the AGs are trying to do here, and what's happened in a nutshell is that they looked at the Rosalind Ranson affair and said to themselves, this shouldn't happen again. Now, what they should have done was review and reform the AG's department. What they're trying to do is they're trying to overwhelm and suppress and influence a judicial process, which is the Equalities and Employment Tribunal, by inserting members from the AG's department into it. Absolutely disgraceful. And Jane Poole-Wilson's allowed it to go on. A couple of other points about the AG's department. It's come to my notice as well that when the departments of government refer a matter to do with a whistleblower or whatever in their department to the AG's department, when a case goes before the Employment Inequalities Tribunal, it transpires the department pays nothing for that. Now, you look at the mentality of that. It means effectively that a CEO has to his or her right hand enormous facilities in terms of legal advice and authority, whereas the appellant or the applicant rather to the Employment Tribunal has nothing, and that is the ultimate inequality of arms, which I think you'll recall that the chairman of the Employment Tribunal has raised directly himself. Yeah. So I then thought, well, okay, where do we stand on this with regard to budgets? So here's an interesting note. From 2021-22 Pink Book, I note that the actual cost of the Attorney General's office, remember it's 75 staff now.
Oh, it's huge now. I mean, I think it almost doubled over the last.
Well, listen to this. Their budget was $5,747,000.
Right.
Then I've scrolled forward to the latest Pink Book to see what the estimate for this current year is, and it's 8 million.
Sorry, 1 million?
8,581,000.
For 1 year?
Yeah. That's an increase in these few years since this administration came into power of 50% of their budget. So what the authorities, what the government, the executive are trying to do, They are part and parcel of this process, allowing this to go on. They're all implicated in this, and it's an absolute scandal, Paul. And that's really all I've got to say on the matter.
Okay, but you touched on there, all the things that's going on about Rosalind Ransom and what happened. The AG's hasn't been reformed, it hasn't been looked at particularly, as far as I hear.
It's been reinforced, not reformed.
Reinforced, okay, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
But every time we're talking, and by the way, I have now heard from, I think it's 3 or 4 people who've also got things in front of the tribunals, and the AGs are piling on the thing. The same thing we're hearing over and again.
I now challenge Jane Poole-Wilson to meet me in a public environment in front of a camera and explain herself. And if she won't, then shame on her.
Has she got to go?
I haven't asked her yet.
No, but I mean, has she got to go if she doesn't do something, you think?
She should go anyway.
Oh.
This is not on, Paul.
But is the buck stopping with her, or is it the Attorney General?
The whole point of me wanting a Minister for Justice in the first place, in the last house I was in, was to oversee this very sort of thing. And as I said in our previous interview, she's gone totally native, and she's pro the establishment and against the individual. She's not doing a job. As I've said, she is now the Minister of Injustice.
The silence is deafening.
Yes.
No one's saying anything. Its head's under, keep it below the parapet, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Hoping this is all just going to go away. But
it won't. Paul, this won't. This is absolutely disgraceful. And it's about time the members of Key started picking it up. Because when they're voted in, they're not just voted in by the electorate, they're voted in by a number of people who work for government, who are now exposed. And incidentally, of course, because of the way this is going on, any employee taking a matter to the Employment Tribunal is exposed to unacceptable circumstances.
How would you fix it? I mean, obviously, the AGs can put in as much money as they want to do the defending of the government departments, but the person that's taking them on is left up to their own devices. Should there be some sort of fund to allow them to match the lawyers on each side or something?
No, the first thing the Constitution, almost the first thing, it might have been the first actual thing that the Constitutional Legal and Justice Committee looked at when I got it formed, was to look at the breadth of reach and control that the AG's department has got. It is enormous.
Yeah.
And here we are now, it's trying to stretch out, to reach out and to significantly influence a judicial process. That's corruption, Paul, and it's got to be stopped.
Yeah.
Now, silence from the government on this one, from Poole-Wilson, is indicating to me that they're not willing to, as it were, challenge what I'm saying to you today.
Well, the stories I've heard and the distress it's putting these people through.
Disgraceful.
And yet, it's all about protecting the government departments. That seems to be like everything is to protect government civil servants and everything. We're going around in circles here constantly, and you use was corruption, which is just not a word you want. I know, but
it's a form of corruption.
People
Paul,
watching this video from off the island as well will be going, "What on earth is going on in the Isle of Man?"
Well, I'm just telling you what's going on.
I know,
it's got to stop.
And the only person is the minister to do what? Ask for an inquiry. Order an inquiry into the AG's department.
No, she should. I think she's complicit in this. She must.
Okay, but how do you fix it? Okay, you're in charge. What are you going to do?
This house won't do it. It's too late. They're too tied up in it. The next house has got, one of the first things they've got to do is they've got to enter into a total review of power, control, influence and financing of the Attorney General's department. That's got to be an absolute priority. We are losing our justice system for employees here.
Yeah.
I mean, our employment tribunal is not set up the same as the UK's. It's a simplified version, and Douglas Stewart as chairman has identified what those differences are. What the AGs, apart from everything else, what the AG's department are trying to do is trying to make our employment tribunal equivalent, to enjoy equivalent complexity as the UK, so that it, as it were, the process of litigation becomes complex and expensive and time consuming, so people are put off.
Put off. Mental health issues. I mean, one day they might have blood on their hands on this thing. I just got the feeling that some people just won't be able to cope at all with what they're going in there with, as a whistleblower, whatever, and they're being totally taken to pieces by the expense that could be incurred if they lose. And the thought of that must be terribly worrying when they think they're doing the right thing by pointing something out. But
well, certainly the Constitutional Legal and Justice Committee should already have picked this up and be analysing it. Let's see if they act. What's Tanya August Phillips, is it? No,
Humbles? Yeah, go on.
Anyway, she's the chairman. Is she going to pick this up? Is Stu Peters going to pick it up? Is he going to start talking and examining it? Is Laurie Hooper, he's the other member? Are they going to do their duty here, or are they just going to go, no, this is not for us? Okay. Let's see what they do now.
Okay, and just finish with the people who've been in touch with me, many of them won't go on camera, and I absolutely understand that why, but I've said if this comes to the crunch and you would do it, please come to me. So I put that out because something is going wrong here, and I think it's clear that something is really, really wrong.
That it is. People are frightened, Paul.
Yeah.
And they want to keep their heads below the parapet.
Well, you can't blame when you hear about this stuff. They go, God, I don't want to go through all that. Thank you very much indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the very act of us talking about this might actually inhibit people from saying...
I know, I think you're right. But let's see the Minister will talk to you. We'll have the cameras. We have a little studio. It'd be interesting to see if
she does.
I kind of like the lady. I think she's kind of looks to me like she would see a problem and try and right it. I think she's got that bit. Well, okay, whatever. Let's try and be positive about it.
She should have seen this long ago.
And maybe it is so big that she can't do anything about it. I mean, the old thing about the civil servants are running the country. Wouldn't that just fall into that sort of line of thinking that basically the agency is totally out of control? If
people haven't got the courage to stand up for what is right, then what on earth are they doing standing for the keys? Come on, Paul. No, don't agree with that.